Okay, so here's my vacuum test rig. We've got a head, we have a test port, we have a vacuum gauge over there, which goes down to a vacuum pump. Now when the valve is in that position, the vacuum is not being sucked. It's in that position, it is being sucked. Right, so if you have a look at the gauge, pulling a vacuum, we put it onto the inlet port over there, sorry. Yeah, so the gauge starts going down to a vacuum, which is -1 bar. So we then turn that switch so the vacuum is no longer being sucked, and we monitor the gauge, and you can see there's a slight leak on the inlet valve. The needle's just dropping ever so slowly, which is not a real problem. And there, we pop that off, and the gauge goes down to 0. So we turn the vacuum back on. There, you hear it sucking. We put it onto the next port, and the gauge goes down. We turn the valve off, and the gauge starts to drop. It's dropping a little bit quicker than the first cylinder, so the valves in there are leaking slightly more. We'll pop that off, try the next one, start the suck, pop it on that one, watch the gauge come down, turn that one off, and the gauge is sitting at basically -1 bar. So those valves, inlet valves, are absolutely perfect. It's holding a vacuum very nicely. And you can hear the pop. We'll pull it off. Right, now let's do the exhaust valves. Let's flip it round. Right, so got it round that way. Let's turn the vacuum on. Put it on the first exhaust valve. And the gauge comes down. Turn off the valve, and the gauge starts to drop. So those exhaust valves are not perfect, but they're not bad. It's not dropping too badly. Okay, we'll pop that one off. And let's go to the middle cylinder. Start the vacuum. Pop that on. And watch the gauge. Ooh. That's not very good, it's not even pulling a vacuum. So that means these exhaust valves are leaking, because I've not even turned the vacuum off. So if I turn the vacuum off now, watch what happens. Ready? Turn it off, instantly drops. So those exhaust valves definitely need some work. Let's go to the next one. Pull the vacuum on there, and let's pull in the vacuum. turn it off, and that's only dropping fractionally, so those exhaust valves are pretty good. Right, so we can do inlet valves and exhaust valves. If I pull this off, let's try the actual cylinder itself. So, turn the vacuum on, pop that over the hole, watch it pull vacuum, and what it's doing, the chamber's sealing down to this foam pad as well on here. So both foam pads have got WD-40 on them to give them a decent seal. So there we go, let's pull the vacuum, turn it off, the vacuum starts to drop, and it's dropping more than the exhaust valve. I'll be able to review that later. So that's not perfect. Let's get the next one. And as you'd expect, it's only pulling the same vacuum as it was before. So those exhaust valves in there are the limiting factor. So if I pop that one off, and we'll pop it onto the next one. There we go. And the vacuum comes down. We turn the vacuum off. We start losing vacuum in the cylinder, but it's not horrendously quick. So that's not too bad. But as you can see, the middle cylinder, I've got some work to do. So that is, in fact, all I wanted to show you. And that is the head, and you can see it's covered in WD-40, and it just aids the seal to the bottom of the head, and you're actually testing the chamber. So that's it.